Hello, fellow geeks. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.
And today we're going to start a new video series called Cap and Vince Recommend. And what we're going to do is we're going to recommend things. Yes. We're going to show you something that we like very much. Actually, each of us are going to do our own. And we're going to show you something that we think is really cool. And these won't be full reviews because we want you to go out and take a look at this stuff. So we don't want to tell you everything there is to know about it. And so these will be brief explanations of cool stuff. Today we're going to do graphic novels. But sometimes we'll do other stuff, right?
Yes.
Like what other things might we do?
Like CDs, DVDs, a coat.
A really cool, geeky coat.
I recommend a coat for cold weather.
Me too. No, we want to recommend things that people maybe won't have necessarily heard of before.
For your entertainment.
Sometimes it'll be probably things that most people watching will have heard of. But, it won't always be brand new stuff. In fact, this isn't brand new stuff, I don't think. But sometimes it'll be older stuff. Sometimes it'll just be things hanging around that we were thinking, oh, you know what? That was awesome. We should probably mention that to our viewers. So let's go ahead. Vince, what do you recommend this week?
This week I am recommending Kiya Asamiya's, or however you say this gentleman's name, Batman Child of Dreams. It truly is fantastic. It's done by a well-known manga writer, Kiya Asamiya. And he does very significant things in Japan. In fact, everything that most things that I think he's written are still being published and read in Japan. I mean, he's a very, very popular guy. So he got the chance to do a Batman comic book or a Batman manga, and he put it out in Japan. Well, it came out in 2 volumes and was serialized in another publication, of which the name eludes me at the moment. But this, I think, is the first English translation by a man named Max Allan Collins, who I think is an American novelist. Whatever. It truly is worth reading. It's all in black and white. It's fantastic stuff. It's $25, so and that may seem steep for a comic book for some people, but it's hardback and it's thick. You get a lot of entertainment out of this. This is completely worth whatever you're going to pay for.
And this is coming from a guy who doesn't like manga.
Yeah. I've read some manga that I enjoy, most I don't. Most Japanese entertainment I find too strange. And one of the things in an interview with Kiya Asamiya, he says, in most manga-type stories, you can get away with doing things that are hyper-unrealistic and very strange. But with Batman, he had to make sure that everything was realistic. So, a quick premise of what it is, there is a drug on the streets, of which the name of the drug also eludes me. But this drug can change people into another person, essentially. You keep all your faculties, you know that you are whoever you were, but you can look exactly like someone else. So Batman has to struggle with this, and...
is Clayface in it?
No.
Oh.
And
it just seemed like a perfect story for Clayface to be in.
And strangely enough, even though this guy is not from America, I think he understands Batman better than some of our even stable writers.
Wow.
I think this guy understands Batman better than even Frank Miller.
Really? You'd say that?
I'd say that.
Okay, now I have to read it.
And that's just, granted, you know my opinion of Frank Miller.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Frank Miller did do a very good run on Batman.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. So read that. I'm going to read that. It looks really, really interesting.
He's going to read this.
And, I hadn't even heard of that before you told me about it.
It's completely worth it.
Okay, this week I am recommending Superman Batman The Search for Kryptonite, which I bought solely because that title cracked me up. I was like, we gotta go find us some kryptonite, let's go! And as absurd as it sounds, and by the way, Superman Batman as a title is very often quite absurd. As absurd as it sounds, it's actually one of the more mainstream type stories in this book for me. It's got its weird places, but what's really cool about it is it manages to have a really decent narrative while simultaneously being exactly what you would expect the search for kryptonite to be. They go look for a bunch of kryptonite. That's the whole story. I mean, basically, the premise is Superman decides that there's too much kryptonite on Earth, and he's got to get rid of all of it. and he doesn't realize just how much there happens to be, but there's the scene at the beginning where he gets hit with some kryptonite that he didn't know was there. Something explodes and there's kryptonite there. And he's like, well, this is ridiculous. There's too much kryptonite. And Batman decides to actually help him, which at first seems kind of strange because you think, well, Batman is the kind of character that realizes that Superman could get too powerful. But what's cool is they play it up in such a way where, especially by the end, you understand why Batman helps him. But anyway, they build this machine to find all the kryptonite. It builds this giant hologram, and you find there's kryptonite everywhere. And they even make fun of Smallville in it, which is fantastic. Clark has this line where he says, you know, back when I was living in Smallville, it seemed like we had a freak of the week there for a while, and it's fantastic. And they build in you know kryptonite actually making super beings and stuff like that in it. But it actually works really well, and it's quite a good story. I was really surprised by it. In fact, I liked it so much that I would say that I almost wish they had made this into a movie. Into an animated movie instead of Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. I think it's actually better than that story. So that's what I'm recommending this week. You know, we didn't do this on purpose, both picking Batman stories.
No, we didn't.
Well, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you again next time with another Geeks Not Nerds, and also another recommend video.
Incidentally, Freak of the Week, a lyric to a fantastic George Clinton song.
Really?
Called Not Just Knee Deep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not just knee deep, she was still knee deep. What you did the freak with me? Ow. Anyway, I'm sorry, and I apologize for that.
Don't recommend that next time.